Well, we've got a big topic this week. We are today going to be tackling a national crisis of suicide prevention, and we'd like to welcome a very special family now to do that. Here's Melanie and Christine and Ken Debney. Come on in, Melanie. Come on, have a seat there. This is just so great of you to come share your family story. And I'm just going to say one quick thing, because the Salvation Army has got to be one of the #1 front lines on suicide prevention in this country. And you are both volunteers with the Salvation Army. You work in a crisis or in a community care line, Christine and Ken. You manage one of our great stores in the Kitchener area there.
It's actually the Citadel. But
The Citadel. Okay, thank you. And Melanie, you were at home and you answered the phone one day.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
So I had gotten a text from my brother's best friend that he was concerned that my brother hadn't been responding to texts that day, and I thought he was overreacting. And so he said he was going to be heading to my brother's apartment just to kind of stop in on him, check in on him, because Gordon had admitted to us at that point that he was suffering from depression and getting help for it.
But this wasn't a long knowledge in the family, right? Christine, how long had you known your son had depression?
Almost 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Did something bring that on, or when you look back, and was there any signs heading up into that period?
No, not really. We have family night every Sunday night, and he just had said, you know what, I went to the doctor and I'm going to be getting treatment for depression. He said, I've already started, but I just want you guys to know.
Ken, I'm sure that set off some alarm bells.
And I remember asking him because I had heard that, during the initial treatments that there's a higher risk of actually carrying out a suicide. And he assured me there was no risk, that he was under a small dose of medication and was on a good path for this. So that was sort of alleviated my concerns. I thought he would be okay.
This happens at family night.
Yes.
You're texting with Gordon's friends, and he goes to check. What happens?
Yeah, so he was silent, like my brother's friend was silent for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I ended up picking up the phone and calling him, and I wouldn't have normally been at my parents' place on I think it was a Thursday night at that time, because I worked early in the mornings at the time, and my dad had just walked in the door for his end of shift, and right when he walked in the door, essentially, is when I got the news that my brother had taken his life.
Wow.
Ken, I just can't imagine. Christine, how were you processing at that point? You just go into shock?
I think I went numb. I just was numb. No, just numb, like unbelief. It never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that I would be, doing this.
I think we have high expectations of faith, but what I've shared in various venues is that some things faith can't fix, and we had to go through that pain. Like that night was obviously the darkest hour of our life, and I just remember, if you're talking about shock, I just remember asking that question twice, is he gone? And the attending officer the other end saying, yes, he is, and we were just in turmoil for that first couple of hours. And the one thing both my wife and I shared later, though, was we never slept that night. That's probably not unexpected, but we both knew we knew this was going to be the most difficult thing that we would ever go through, but we also knew we were going to be okay. And that was because of our faith that would carry us through, and it certainly has.
But not all people would react that way. I mean, I know of others that have been through horrific situations, and sometimes the faith is strong right off the top. Other times there's this anger.
Yes.
God, how could you let this happen? Did you have some of that happen?
A little bit of that, yes, for sure. There's some of that, but I don't think my faith ever faltered. Someone said it would be a test of faith. For me, it wasn't a test of faith. It was a depth finder. I really learned, like you hear from the pulpit that you can trust in God, for instance, trust in Jesus, and it's a bit abstract because you're hearing it being preached and you believe it, but until you've actually had to experience that, it's more profound when you actually experience that.
And I'm amazed to see how this has pulled you together, and you decided soon we're going to speak about this. He has a 30th birthday coming up. Christine, why did you decide we can't be silent about the shame of suicide?
When the police officers were in our living room, I felt a presence, just didn't hear, but just felt in my heart, you're going to be okay. I've got your back. And the police officer was saying that, you know, Gordon didn't attempt before, and to be 2 o'clock in the morning and have a whole house full of people that love Gordon and found so quickly, this is unusual. And I just thought, you know what, I have to do something. I can't save my son. He's gone. And I promised the police officer that I would do something to save other people's sons so they wouldn't have to
Well, let's
suffer.
keep you right here, and we're going to find out what can be done for other families from the lessons that you've been gathering. And if you are on that thin edge of life like that, that's what the prayer lines are there for.
There are people standing by that'll pray for you and even direct you in, if you know, going through suicidal tendencies or thoughts, things like that. And yeah, please call us 1-866-273-4444. We'll have more with the Debneys right after this.